All right, hello AP Computer Science students. This is part of Tuesday 512. Just want to go over the demo for the AP site. Basically, since the test is kind of different this year, they want to give you a chance to see what it feels like. If you've already taken an AP test, you don't necessarily really need to do the demo, other than for computer science, it's a little bit different than other tests because you can use an editor like Eclipse when doing it. So it might be good to still watch this and try it. So here's a summary of the three different ways you'll have to submit. I'm not gonna push one over the other. I think it's whatever you really feel comfortable with. Um, Eclipse has some advantages of they have like that completion. Um, I just kind of like the feel of Eclipse. I'm kind of used to it. The downside is you might have errors in there, those red underline errors, even if your code is right. And that comes from on the site or on the questions they don't give you all of the classes and all the methods. So sometimes you'll have errors because you don't have access to all of that. So that can be a little bit freaky, but I don't know what that was for me the easiest one to do. You can also type something out in just like WordPad. So if you have a Windows computer, um, you can just type like, let's see, Notepad, I think is one. There's also like, what is it? What is it called? I forget. Um, WordPad, there it is. So you could use actual Microsoft Word or WordPad. If you're on a Mac computer, you could just look up like a text editor or find one ahead of time because you can type in anything, right? If I open my WordPad here, I can type a method, public, maybe let's make it void, bumpkin, x in a string, whatever, right? So you can type in here, right? It doesn't look great. Um, you have to do like the tabbing and everything, but you can certainly type in just this and then copy or paste your code in, or save this file and upload it. Right? Those are a couple different options for actually doing it. So um, the demo site, right? So hopefully you're watching this video, and then the demo site is here, and they have all the directions in here. So I'm going to go pretty fast on this. You just type practice here. On the actual exam day, you'll enter your AP ID. So obviously you'll need that handy. Blah, 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 blah. So get started, and you can just enter all your information here. I won't even enter real information because you're just practicing. I'm going to fill it out quick. So just type in a bunch of information. Oh, shoot, I already did it. It skipped right away. So I just typed in Billy Bumpkin and a bunch of other stuff in here. Hit the accept at the bottom, and then it went. All right, so now it's giving me the different ways to turn in. If you want to look at them, you can. Unfortunately, here I did have to wait. I think like I couldn't actually just get it to start. I had to wait this extra time, which is stupid. Maybe you know a way around that. But if not, I just kind of walked away for a little bit, did something else, and then came back to it. And that's true of the questions too. Is you have to wait through the time, and then it'll start automatically once this time runs out. Sorry, you can't really see it there in the bottom of the page. Try to make this a little smaller. All right, and I would practice here, however you plan to actually do it on the AP test. Um, that's what I'd plan to do on this demo. You can do the demo more than once if you want to try a different one. I actually tried two different methods. I tried an attaching a file, at which point I found that you couldn't attach .javas, and then I also did a cut and paste one. I'm not a huge fan of writing it out because I think that's slow. I'm a much faster typing writer, but again, it's really up to you for whatever method you think is going to work best for you. All right, so it automatically rolled me into the first question here, so I can say continue. And then here is where you would either start to write it out on paper, type it in an editor, type it into an Eclipse. Okay, and so this is just for you to practice, right? So you can kind of do both of these. I try to paste from Eclipse. So I just took some of my code here, and these were the notes that I had taken. So I copied them and just practice pasting them, and it should look okay. For me, it looked really nice when I pasted it in. That looked just fine there when I did it. Though out there, just took a second this time. And that certainly is a route to go to that. If you do that, on exam day, I would have Eclipse all loaded up. I would have my notes, right? So we talked about notes a couple weeks ago. So I'd have all my notes ready, and then you could actually just make the classes right away if you wanted. Um, let's see, maybe I'll just put them. I guess you can't do the default package, but if I just put them in here, I could do like new class question 1 or something. All right, and then just have it all ready to go. And then if you need to rename it on the AP, let's say it's about frogs again or something. Maybe it's about bumpkins, that would be great. So maybe I have a bumpkin class. So if you need to rename it, you can just hit right click and then do refactor, rename. Also on my computer, I just hit F2. So you can hit F2 to rename it. Or you can just make them the day of the test, I guess. However you want to do it, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to rename it bumpkin. And then I'm all ready to go and type my code in. Again, you might get errors depending on, like, you might be calling methods that don't exist and stuff, but you could type them right in there and then just paste it like I did here. You hit Control A to get everything. Control A highlights everything. Control C or Open Apple C on a Mac, and then paste it. Right, you can just paste it right on in that way. You could also paste again straight from like a text editor, right? You can just copy it all, paste it in that way. Right, and again, the whole point of this is just for you to practice doing this, right, and make sure that it looks okay when you actually paste and everything. So however you plan to do it, give it some practice, and make sure that it's okay. I kind of did one of each. I did one where I pasted it, and then I just wanted to try attaching. And the only downside to attaching is, one, you have to know where your file is, right? And then two, these are the only file formats that are acceptable. Okay, so if you want to go this route and you typed in a text editor, it'd be easy. Just save it as a .txt. And then if you did it in Eclipse, what I would do is, if I had bumpkin.java here in Eclipse, I would just copy it to my desktop. Take bumpkin, save it obviously first, and then take bumpkin.java, copy it down onto the desktop, and then you can't turn in .java, so you can just rename it again. So like F2 renames, or just, I think, click on it and rename it, and then you can just do .txt. Again, it might look different if you have a Mac, so you might want to practice that if you plan to upload the file. I think copy and paste is going to be a little bit easier, but if you want to upload, you'd have to put it somewhere, change it from .java to .txt, and then upload that. So I would just browse your file now. And on my desktop, I had, I would call the robot. I don't know where Bumpkin went. Oh, there it is, Bumpkin. And open. And again, I would practice this and have it all set up for however you plan to do it on the test to make sure you know how to do it. Yeah, and so there'll be 2 questions. I've submitted my first one, and then it does stupidly make me wait till question 2. So if you want to practice both on question 1, you can. That way you don't have to wait till question 2. If you want to wait, see what it looks like to get the full experience, be my guest. Again, this is for you to be ready for the test, which I think is good. The more of this stuff you know ahead of time, the easier it's going to be come test day. Please reach out with questions if you got them. Thanks.